So, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Okay, so Jesus became God on earth because he did what his Father did. All right? So now that we know that Jesus is the Word, now we know that we are the Word now. Okay? People say, how you say that you're the Word? Because, see, we were spirits before we were flesh. God knew us before we got here. Prove it. I would love to. I'm glad you asked. In Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 5, Jeremiah 1, verse 5 says, before you were formed in your mother's womb, I knew you. I sanctified and ordained you to be a spokesman to the world. He said, before you were formed in your mother's womb. So that means you were spirit before you were flesh. People say, how were you spirit before you flesh? Because he said in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 23, he said, you are a spirit that possesses a soul that lives inside of a physical body. So that now on earth, we are tripart beings. So your spirit man is who you're supposed to be feeding. But you got to catch on when he said that you are a spirit. So the question is, what kind of spirit are you? Amen? And where I'm coming from is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 23. Because see, we were spirits before we were flesh. That's why Jeremiah 1 and 5 coincides with this. This is the proof that you were here before you were formed in your mother's womb. Let me give you another example of how you were here before you were formed in your mother's womb. All right, it goes like this. Before you got here, we were spirits, and we already had the mind of Christ. You know, we already know how to talk like God, we know how to think like God, we know how to speak like God. So God said, okay, well, I see that we need such and such done down here on this earth because people forgot who I was. So what I want you to do is go down there and let them know why we are here. So I put my word in you to speak. All right? So when you were getting ready to be formed in your mother's womb, when we came, we had the mind of Christ. 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 And also we came through flesh. Now we got the mind of what Mama and them said.